I don't wish to put that burden onto you, but that would be great because I've got to control everything that's going on here. Especially people from Canada.
I heard that.
Oh, shit, was my mic on then?
Yeah, I think he heard that, Chuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang it.
I heard that.
Okay, we hear Chuck. We hear Chuck. Chuck.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Chuck,
yes,
whatever
Okay,
you
you ready?
don't
Y'all ready?
unmute.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The second.
All
Oh,
right.
there it is. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Yep.
Okay.
Got it. There we go.
All right.
The screen is yours, sir.
All right. Okay. Now, again, I just want to say this right now. Y'all say that this is not real or whatever. Okay. Well, but this is real in my real when I use it with the system. And I'm about to break it all the way down. What she just. Anyway, this is called jurisdiction. Okay. All jurisdiction derived from this here. It says this is where the artificial person come in at, and I know it's kind of, but anyway, Canon 1718. Jurisdiction is the power and authority of a juridic person. You can look that up. To review, administer, and issue certain statutes or ordinances. Jurisdiction most frequently applies to the power and authority of a court to hear and adjudicate a matter, particularly in a publication or ordinances. This is their jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is the power and authority of an artificial person. That's what juridic person means. To review, administer, and issue certain statutes or ordinances. Jurisdiction most frequently applies to the power and authority of a court to hear and adjudicate a matter, particularly in publication or ordinances. Canon 1719. A juridic person having lesser authority and power than another has no jurisdiction over the other unless granted specific powers and authority by a juridic person possessing greater power and authority greater than either of them. Okay, so that's under jurisdiction. This is where the jurisdiction comes from. This is the argument where a lot of people don't know where the source comes from when they talk of the difference between an artificial person and the things like that. Now I'm about to take you somewhere to show you about that you see.
You're breaking up there just ever so slightly, Mr.El.
Under these laws. Okay, you okay, I'm here. I'm getting
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
This is public law. Now I want you to pay attention. Okay. All right. Okay, y'all ready? Article 159. This is principles of law. Public law that y'all hear every day. We talk about public law. Okay. Canon 1724. Public law is the statutes and ordinance of inferior public Roman juridic person under inferior Roman canon law, or otherwise known as public body corporate, public corporation, or public company. Canon 1725. Now right there, I don't know if it went past y'all real quick. I'm gonna do it again because I'm quite sure y'all intelligent, and I know y'all are, but it's a miscommunication with some things. Public law is the statute.
We're all fairly intelligent here, yes.
Yes, I know it. Public law is statutes and ordinances of an inferior public Roman juridic person under inferior Roman canon law, otherwise known as public body corporate, public corporation, or public company. Canon 1725. Public law is a deliberate false customary term designed to mislead by hiding the fact that any society operate under public law is actually operate under inferior Roman canon law as an estate and public body corporate, and not as a civil or global juridic person. Canon 1726. By custom and deliberate design, public law seeks to perpetrate the false belief that a particular society promulgates laws in accordance with their constitution. That's the 14th Amendment. rather than the true fact that all, excuse me, let me, because I know that, you know what I'm saying, let me just,
Yeah,
by
sure.
by custom and deliberate design, public law seeks to perpetrate the false belief that a particular society promulgates laws in accordance with their constitution, rather than the true fact that all laws promulgated by all societies subject to inferior Roman juridic person, model, or merely statutes or ordinance, not law. Canon 1727, by custom deliberate design, public law to seek to perpetrate that the false belief that the highest law of a particular society is its constitution, when in fact all societies subject to the inferior Roman juridic person model are subject to no less than 3 superior bodies of law, including the Uniform Commercial Code, Roman canon law, and the Talmudic law. The Talmudic law is what the so-called Jews use. Canon 1728. I like to read that again because we were just dealing with the UCC. By custom and deliberate design, public law to seek to perpetrate the false belief that the highest laws of a particular society is its constitution, when in fact all societies subject to the inferior Roman juridic person model are subject to no less than 3 superior bodies of law, including the Uniform Commercial Code, Roman canon law, and the Talmudic law. Canon 1728. Unlike inferior Roman canon law that seeks to obligate to enslave and mislead in accordance with the sacred covenant Paternorum Singulis Calium and the 7 pronouncements of Eucadia, all societies have been granted recognition as a juridic society person, holding real property rights, eliminations of debt, and restoration of rule of law awaiting the political, military, and judicial classes of these societies to repudiate the deliberate enslavement of their people. Canon 1729. As the term public law is designed to deceive and mislead, it is forbidden to be used as a valid term of law. I'm about to go to another one.
Okay. So,
private law. Private law.
Yep.
Private law is
sorry.
the statutes and
Sorry, go
ordinance of
ahead.
an
Go
inferior
ahead.
private
Go
Roman
ahead.
juridic person. Private law. I got 2 more things, and I'm gonna let somebody go ahead from there. Private law is the statutes and ordinance of an inferior private Roman juridic person under inferior Roman canon law, otherwise known as a private body corporate or private person. This is where you got the private sector and you got the public sector. So the private sector is what they're talking about under this private law. But this is dealing with the society that we're dealing with right now, that you say that, okay, private law is a deliberate false customary term designed to mislead by hiding the fact that any society operating private law is actually operating under inferior Roman canon law and Uniform Commercial Code, UCC, as a private estate and private corporation, and not as a global or civil juridic person. To further confuse and mislead the false term, private law is also used as a equivalent to another false term known as common law, a term created in the 4th century from the Latin committo, meaning entrust, commit, and munus, meaning burden, public duty, service, or obligation. Therefore, the original meaning of a common law is voluntary servitude, or more accurately, voluntary enslavement. Unlike the inferior public Roman juridic person, which provides at least the opportunity for men and women to be classed as citizens. This is where the sovereign citizen coming at. Because like I said, I'm telling you that the so-called government that we are under, that want to take it and do this and do that, and tell you how high to jump and all that, they taking their citizens from what they know that people don't really deal with and don't know nothing about, and they sign it to the sovereign of the we the people. So anyway, again, the citizens Unlike the inferior public Roman juridic person, which provides at least opportunity for men and women to be classed as citizens and therefore slaves of Rome, a private juridic person known as private law under the Uniform Commercial Code. That's why I got the books and everything to show you when people do the UCC, they create the contracts because the contract is binding and enforceable. And that's why you can file it with the Secretary of State. And that's how you become, you say you're a secure party creditor because you say you separate yourself from, which we don't call over here because people don't know, we say juridic, we don't say the juridic person, we say straw man or artificial person because they don't know the real term behind the straw man or the artificial person, which is really the juridic person. But because people don't know nothing about the canon laws or really don't know where the source is coming from, everybody go with artificial person or the straw man. So I'm gonna read it again. Unlike the inferior public Roman juridic person, which provides at the least the opportunity for men and women to be classed as citizens, and therefore slaves of Rome, a private juridic person known as private law under the Uniform Commercial Code does not afford such status. Instead of treating all men and women without status as things being less animals, but mere property and goods. All the terms private law designed to deceive and mislead. It is forbidden to be used as a valid term of law. And I'm about to show you something that where the courts don't even have, the so-called judges don't have jurisdiction. And this is the specific why they don't have jurisdiction to even rule on a case, but nobody don't know. And then I can show you the statutes that we can pull up and off of here you go, right here.
Yeah, sure.
Agreement, dispute, and distinction. Okay. All right, here we go.
I've got a few questions to ask you once you've done that. Thank you.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
Once you've done that, I've got a few questions to ask.
Okay. Agreement, dispute, and distinction. This is Article 138, perjury, canon, 1601. Perjury is a deliberately deceitful act of falsely making a promise and a vow, allegiance, or agreement for the purpose of gaining paroxysm and the trust in order to undertake an act of treachery and great injury. You had to break that down and know what they really actually said. You know what I'm saying? They talk like anyway. They make it up here, and that's basically, okay. Canon 1602, perjury is one of the most heinous acts against the law in society that a person deliberately uses the good faith and trust of others against them, thus creating confusion, further mistrust, and turmoil. That's basically what the courts. This is what the courts do. See what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying? They use their position to create bad case laws and things like that to cause confusion and further mistrust and turmoil. And let me walk you down, and they're going to tell you everything about the whole system. Canon 1603. All other persons and inferior juridic persons that have existed. Of all persons and inferior juridic persons that have existed, there exists two classes of persons who have consistently demonstrated continued acts of perjury against virtually every society and community with apparent immunity within the framework of inferior Roman law. The banking class in the Bar Association. Canon 1604. The banking class of the family sharing long history of creating, owning, controlling financial institutions are the single greatest source of acts of perjury than every other class of professions and persons combined, excluding the Bar Association. As a result, this banking class sharing common ancestral and cultural heritage have been responsible for more wars, genocides, recessions, depressions, and global misery than all worst dictators of history. Coming out of the horse's mouth. This is coming from Rome. Canon 1605, second, to the banking class of families. The Bar Association are the second greatest source of acts of perjury, usually working closely in support of the banking class. The Bar Association is the second worst of acts of perjury, usually working with the banking class. Now, I'm about to show you why under that case, under Kevin versus Gunnell that she showed or whatever, why that judge did what she did. Because she know as a UCC, if you had the contracts and everything that's set up, what it does is separate you from the artificial person, which is the bank, which is the birth certificate that I showed y'all almost a couple minutes ago. So what happens
Excuse me just a second. Chuck, PM,
Yes.
please.
Yep, sure. Sorry,
Hello?
sorry, Mr.El. No, it's all right. One of the panel just wants to talk to me privately. Carry on.
Okay. Y'all ready? Hello?
Yes. Carry on, sir.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right.
The floor
Canon
is yours.
1606. So, okay, I was just saying that where it says under Canon 1605, it says, second, the banking class of families, the bar association are the second greatest sources of acts of perjury, usually working closely in support of the banking class. Okay, Canon 1606. In accordance with these canons and the sacred covenant being a treaty, contract, that's a covenant. Pactum, the singular is Cayum, and as a penalty for their historical perjury, no person whose father, grandfather, or great-grandfather was a director of a bank or major shareholder of a bank is permitted to hold any position of any financial institution, nor may any other families be involved in the banking for several generations that follow. Now, I'm telling you, do your research after this. I mean, I got this other thing to show you, but do your research and find out that this is not no fake site or none of that type of stuff. This is from Rome, and this is who actually got this society the way it is. Here it is right here, Canon 1607. In accordance with these canons and the sacred covenant, Patalum de Singular's Cayum, and as a penalty for their historical perjury, no person who is a member of a bar association is permitted to hold any position at law, including judge, magistrate, barrister, that's over there where you at, Chuck, attorney, lawyer, clerk, or assistant. So if you look up any judge here, and I'm quite sure over there in Canada or anywhere where the Roman Courier has a corporation set up at, you're going to find that they are a member of the Bar Association. The reason why they still being a member of the Bar Association is because people don't know nothing about that they're not are supposed to be holding a position because they members of it's a conflict of interest because they working with the banking class. So anytime you get a ruling, it's going to be in the favor for the bank. That's why they rule against people because the bank is using the birth certificate to create mortgages, to create deeds, and all types of other sources. So my whole thing is this, and I know y'all want to debunk who we are, or whatever. If I say I'm not a Moor or whatever, I don't want to be up under that, and I have a right not to be up under that. Okay, and I'm about to show you right here.
Of the presenter, please, real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I would like for him to please link the actual documentation, which technically is between the 1600s and the 1700s in this document, to the actual Vatican website, please, because I would like to see the legitimacy of it.
Yep.
The
Sure.
16. Huh?
Yeah, we're just gonna
say what
we're just
again? Go ahead, pull it up. Y'all can pull it up. I was just about to. Did you put this where I just went to? I just put this up, and then we can get back to her.
It's a legitimate code of canon law.
So what you had up, Mr.El, was a completely non-validated source of information.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, guess what? Chicken butt. Cold. Yeah. Chicken butt. And y'all, guess what? We gonna do from here right now. Y'all have a nice day. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, and I'm out of here. Okay.
The thing is, the thing is, Mr.El.
So when someone has a valid question, it's time to rage quit. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I don't understand how if you have a valid question, it's time to rage quit.
Well, when you don't have any actual legitimacy to what the
Evidence.
statements are, then all you can do is rage quit.
Ready?
Please.
Yes, I'm here today because I was issued a ticket for traffic for not having a sticker. I believe it was tags, and I challenged the ticket for jurisdictional, lack of subject matter jurisdiction and personal. And I presented the issue to the judge in the lower court, and I put it on in motion. And then when I went before the court, I had spoke out. In the process, in my earlier stages, I had used, it was a remedy, which was under the UCC. And the remedy was without prejudice. I had put the without prejudice on my stick, on my driver's license, for what the remedy said it was the use for. So when I had put the without prejudice on my driver's license, or whatnot, I had a previous case before another judge in the lower court. The lower court, he basically said that the without prejudice, it didn't apply to me or whatnot, because I presented it to him or whatnot, and I had my case. So the case was rendered against me, and I pay a fine. So in the process, I had went through the process of becoming a secure party creditor. And basically, my whole thing of becoming a secure party creditor is because I wanted to travel and have my rights under the Privilege and Immunity Clause to be able to travel. And under Packard versus Graham, the United States Supreme Court had ruled, said that we had a right to travel.
Orly Ahroni on behalf of Appellee. Good morning. Ohio's motor vehicle registration laws requires that the owner of a motor vehicle who drives his car on public roads to register his car annually and to pay the tax for it. And the purpose of registering a car is to establish ownership. In case of car theft, for example, or violating a traffic law, or becoming involved in a car accident. Furthermore, requiring a tax to be paid assists the state with the cost of keeping the roads in proper condition. Now, the defendant argues that Ohio's...
The Ohio Constitution.
I'm sorry?
Doesn't the Ohio Constitution say that money has to be spent for improvement of roads when it deals with the motor vehicle?
And the case law also. I mean, it talks about that. It's for the improvement of roads, for the upkeep of the roads.
It's a constitutional provision too, I think.
I'm not sure about that. It could be, yes. But I know the case law that I found actually supports that argument also. And now, the defendant argues that Ohio's motor vehicle registration law violates his constitutional right to travel. First of all, the standard is an enactment of the General Assembly is presumed to be constitutional. And before a court may declare a law unconstitutional, it must appear beyond a reasonable doubt that the legislation and the constitutional provisions are clearly incompatible. And the defendant in this case has simply not made that showing. There is a constitutional right to interstate travel. However, it is well established that there is no constitutional right to drive a motor vehicle. Driving is a privilege, not a right, and courts throughout Ohio and in the federal courts also have maintained that. And having accepted the privilege of driving, the defendant has also subjected himself to Ohio's traffic laws. The right to interstate and intrastate travel does not embody a right to a particular mode of transportation. The denial of a single mode of transportation does not rise to the level of a constitutional violation of a right to travel. The defendant has not cited to any federal law or state law that holds that requiring a car to be registered violates a person's constitutional right to travel. And in fact, a lot of these similar arguments that the defendant has made have already been raised. They've been raised in the states, in Ohio, they've been raised in federal courts, and the courts have routinely rejected these arguments and have held that these types of licensing laws do not violate a person's constitutional right to travel. Are there any questions on that before I move over to a court's subject matter and personal jurisdiction? No questions? No questions, okay. The defendant also argues that the court did not have subject matter jurisdiction over him. But under the statute, a municipal court in Ohio has jurisdiction over misdemeanor offenses that occur within its territorial jurisdiction. And as for the Franklin County Municipal Court, that court has subject matter jurisdiction over misdemeanors that occur within Franklin County. And in this case, it's undisputed that not registering your vehicle is a misdemeanor, and it is also undisputed that the defendant's offense occurred within Franklin County, and therefore the Franklin County Municipal Court, by operation of statute, has subject matter jurisdiction over the offense. And personal jurisdiction, same argument by statute. Personal jurisdiction is established by service of summons that reasonably calculated to ensure the person's appearance. And I think it's undisputed here that the defendant was served with a summons through the Ohio Uniform Traffic Ticket, and he did appear in court, and therefore the court has subject matter or personal jurisdiction over him.